Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Primary Market Chatter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is our April 3rd week IPOs edition. We didn't do a space this time on Sunday because there was no IPOs which were closing, and we just wanted to wait till we actually figured out how the anchor books were, what the demand is like, and then probably do our reviews. So that is why you are seeing that the episode is being done in the middle of the week. Sorry about that. And also, like, it's slightly inconvenient for us as well because we are in Kolkata, the city of joy, and it's a lot of fun to be in a different city. So if you are in Kolkata, definitely like type in comments. We'll love to say hi if time permits. But having said that, what we'll do is we'll probably just keep this space rather short. We will introduce the five companies that we want to talk about and get straight into it. Before I actually do that, just a couple of housekeeping announcements that I wanted to do and I kind of do every time. One, if you haven't joined our YouTube channel, the link is in the pinned comments. Definitely go ahead and join the YouTube channel. Second thing which I want to highlight is that none of what we discuss is a qualified opinion. हम लोग सेबी रजिस्टर्ड रिसर्च एनालिस्ट नहीं है सो आप जो भी डिसीजन लें अपना खुद से लें दिस इज नथिंग बट व्हाट वी आर प्लानिंग टू डू विथ आवर आईपीओ स्ट्रेटजी nothing we discuss here cannot be constructed as an investment advice. I repeat, nothing that we discuss here is an investment advice. I do not know your circumstances, and please do not read this as nothing more than what our thoughts are with respect to what we are doing. And just want to highlight one more thing: these thoughts are subject to change without notice. Like we may do something else than what we are saying because we also look at the market in terms of like how it is evolving. But just want to make sure that we are doing in the spirit that we started it, like the best case review without having any incentives assigned. You do your own work, consult your financial advisor. This is not research. This is not qualified opinion in any way, shape, or form. With that, let me just set up the agenda for the day by highlighting that if you haven't joined the YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. We'll talk about five main board companies today. We'll start with पटेल रिटेल. सबसे पहले पटेल रिटेल की बात करेंगे, फिर मंगल इलेक्ट्रिकल की बात करेंगे, फिर श्रीजी शिपिंग की बात करेंगे, फिर जेम एंड एरोमेटिक्स की बात करेंगे, लास्ट में विक्रम सोलर करेंगे. दैट्स द ऑर्डर फॉर द डे. So with that, maybe we can go ahead and let me set up Patel Retail. Setting up Patel Retail. It's started in 2008. Company एक retail supermarket chain है जो primarily tier 3 cities and nearby suburban areas में operate करता है. The store offers wide range of products including food, non-food, general merchandising and apparel, and they do both white labeling as well as selling of other brands per se. Setting up the IPO, it's a 242 crore IPO. छोटा सा main board IPO 242 crores का, out of which 216 crores is a fresh issue और कुछ 25 से 27 करोड़ का from what I can see. OFS है. So 216 CR is being going into the company and 24 CR is a promoters taking a part exit. Market cap जिस पे कंपनी आ रही है that is 850 crores. 850 करोड़ पे IPO आ रहा है 242 crores का, so close to 20-25% dilution. Revenue की बात करूं तो their top line is 826 crores and PAT is 25 crores. इसमें एक बहुत अच्छा मेट्रिक चलता है which is your market cap to sales. So it's coming at like 1 के मार्केट कैप टू सेल्स पे आ रही है और पैट की बात करोगे तो क्लोज टू 32 33 34 आई थिंक 34 का पी है जिस पे ये कंपनी आ रही है. LM की बात करूं तो LM फेडेक्स है, फेडेक्स सिक्योरिटी. सो with that, maybe over to you, Sachin, to talk about Patel. Again, what we'll do is we'll do our reviews and then towards the end talk about what we are planning to do between all of the companies. And today, since it's an impromptu space, we haven't really like spoken to each other. So you'll see that we are also figuring out on the go who is doing what. So with that, over to you, Sachin, to talk about Patel Retail.
Am I audible?
Yes.
All right. So Patel Retail, as you mentioned, is a regional supermarket chain, and they mostly operate in Thane and Raigad in the Mumbai region. So they also have one processing thing for their agricultural products, and they also do trading activities as well, which was their prime focus in FY23, the sugar trading part. So currently they have around 43 stores with 1.8 lakh square feet of area. So if you average out, it's around 4,000 square feet per store. In just for comparison, DMart operates at around 40,000 square feet per store, and Vishal Megamart is at 18,000 square feet per store. So a lot of SKUs they have, around 10,000, 11,000 SKUs, and 38 to 40 different product categories as well. They also have their own brands, Patel Fresh for these pulses, ready to cook items. There is one Indian Chaska as well for this ghee and papad stuff. In the apparels, they have launched one Blue Nation brand. Though this Indian Chaska and some of their other own brands as well. So they are under ongoing litigations for the trademark thing. So that trademark thing isn't yet finalized yet. So it's under litigation. So in FY25, the retail came out at 45% of the revenues, which was via stores and some online channels as well. And the processing and manufacturing part came at 44%, and the rest was trading part. They also do exports to Sri Lanka, UK, Canada, etc. Which is around 33% of the revenues. This was earlier around 60% in FY23 and FY24, but now it has reduced. They have around 230 employees on payroll and around 1,200 contract workers as well. Coming to the financials, in FY23 they did around 1,000 CR of revenues, 1019 to be precise. And when they did majorly trading, so trading was around 50% of the FY23 sales. In FY24, the sales dropped to around 817 CR, and this was primarily reduced due to the trading activities, which was reduced due to the sugar export bans that the government of India made. So that led to the reduction in their revenues. In FY25, since they tried to launch their own brands and new store setup as well, so the revenue was marginally up around 826 CR with 7.5% EBITDA and 3% PAT. And going by their projections, they are saying around 1,000 CR of revenues again in FY26 with plans to open around 10 to 15 stores per year. In other, primarily in Mumbai region, but in other regions as well, like Gujarat, Karnataka, Telangana, etc. So currently for their capacity, they have around 3 facilities with 7 units. This is for various items like pulses, masalas, powders, flours, etc. So for the facility 1 and 2, the capacity utilization saw an increase in FY25. But for the third facility, they said that the capacity utilization in some of the units had reduced. Now, no specific explanation was given for this. They primarily said that due to non-availability of raw materials, the utilization didn't scale up. Don't know why they said that. In the IPO meter also they said the same. So if you look at their average revenue per store, it's around 8.8 CR, 8.9 CR per store, and this is stagnant from the last 2 years. So even if the new store sales are growing, it is being offset by the old store sales. This is not going at all if I see that, because the relative revenue per store is almost flat. In the same region, if we take as Vishal Megamart, which is growing at 11% of the revenues for the same stores, and even the giant DMart is growing at around 2% for the same stores revenues. Their inventory turnover is absolutely poor. Around 5 to 6 times, around 5.5 times is their inventory turnover, which is by far very less compared to the Vishal Megamart, which is around 7 to 8 times, and DMart almost rotates its inventory around 11 to 12 times in a year. This question was repeatedly asked in the IPO meets, but they just ignore the question at times. So that is one thing to note. The risk is, just I mentioned that the inventory management is poor. They also have some litigations on the food safety regarding the description and quantity of items that they sell. So that is under process. And they also have 199 CR of unhedged forex thing for the exports that they do. So this is a deliberate practice that they do. So they do not hedge their forex receivables and payables. And competition is obviously inherent for this retail sector. So coming to the IPO use, 59 CR is for debt repayment, which will reduce the interest burden. 115 CR is for working capital, and the rest is for GCP. To the pricing, it has an OFS of about 25 CR. They also did a pre-IPO around November 24 for 300 rupees per share, which included mostly HNIs. Now the IPO is around 255 per share. So this is primarily due to the lesser growth that they saw in this FY25 compared to FY24. So it comes at around 33 times trailing and around 27 to 28 times on forward basis. So I think that since it's a Mainboard, so it's a general notion to price near 30 times. All of the recent issues have been in the same line. The peers, Vishal is there, DMart is there, some other agri product companies are also there. And they have also shown Madhusudan Masala, which is an SME, which primarily deals in masala components, but they have shown that as peer as well. Lead manager is here FedEx, which is more like an SME lead manager, but has brought in some prior mainboard issues as well, like Mukka Proteins and Deepak Builders, which are now trading below their issue prices. The anchors for a 43 crore of portion are not quite good, because we see only ODI funds and SME anchors therein. So it appears like it's just to fill the anchor book, the anchors are put in there. The relative positives are here is that the retail sales are growing year on year. Trading revenues are getting reduced, and this company might also benefit from the recent news of consumption focus by the government. And we have also heard about the GST cuts as well. But I do not see them commanding a premium valuations like Vishal or maybe a DMart type. So that was about it.
Thank you so much, Sachin, for the concise review and covering the company. I also felt same. Like the quality of the company is not compared to what you will feel, but it's just that the segment, this FMCG segment and modern retail segment tends to get a higher PE, which is what we have seen. Like it's a small size issue, so uh, game happening is really possible. So kind of look into this if this is something you feel that you are if like I would look into this because I will feel that this can give some listing pop, but I will only look at it from the listing point of view. I'll also like figure out, but again, not interested in the company simply because it's tier 3 uh, uh, retail stores. So one question for this Sachin is like, which is this metric that you look at? It's called something along the lines of same store sales growth, right? Triple SR or something.
Right,
Say triple SG,
right.
which is a really important metric when you are evaluating these modern retail chains, restaurants, etc. Right?
Right.
So उसका क्या concept होता है? Is it कि तुम्हारा एक स्टोर में कितना ग्रोथ हो रहा है? Because तुम अगर कैपेक्स करते रहोगे, स्टोर खोलते रहोगे, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो रेवेन्यू बढ़ता ही रहेगा. But it is about कि जो एक स्टोर है उससे तुम कितना उसको ओवर टाइम ग्रो कर पा रहे हो. Is my understanding correct?
Like एक पुराना store है, maybe it has matured now. So what is the revenue that we are trying to get from that store even after maturity? Because in new stores we can bring in more people, more customers. The store is under recognition as well. और public उसको देख रही है, तो उसमें initially revenue is higher, but when it matures the crowd settles down. So same stores के लिए, if the mature store is able to generate more revenues, then we can see that the retail chain is functioning well.
Understood. Understood. Thank you for your review, Sachin. Again, I also felt that this is a avoid company unless someone knows something which is not in public eye, or because this is a small size IPO, there is a chance of just whatever you call it, float game, momentum game, something happening because of which it just opens high. But I'm honestly not looking at this company from a long term view. We'll try and see if I can flip it. With that, maybe we'll move forward and talk about the second company. The second company we'll cover is Mangal Electrical. Mangal Electrical की बात करेंगे. Setting up the company, Mangal Electrical 2008 में start हुई थी, 2008 में, and it manufactures transformers, जो कि distribution and transmission of electricity में use होते हैं in power sector. It processes transformer components including lamination, CRGO, slit coils, core assemblies, wound cores, etc. मेरे को SME की दो कंपनी इनफैक्ट JB एंड विलास उनकी याद आ रही है. इट सीम्स लाइक द मेन बोर्ड पीयर ऑफ those companies, and like who better to talk about this company than Rohit, who is who has been tracking this sector for quite some time, for good or for bad is what I will let Rohit kind of talk about. But setting up the IPO, 400 crore का IPO, it's a 400 CR IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. Company is coming at a market cap of 1550 crores. 1550 करोड़ की मार्केट कैप पे आ रहा है. सो दे आर डाइल्यूटिंग लाइक क्लोज टू 25%, अगेन 24%. FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स 551 CR का टॉप लाइन है. पैट 47 करोड़ का है. सो just on PAT level, it's coming at again like 32, 33p. But it's very consistent. Like all the issues are around 400. Yeah, smallish issues other than Vikram. And all of them are coming at like 30, 32p, something like that at a high level. We'll still see. In terms of the LM is systematics. So with that, over to you, Rohit, to talk about Mangal Electrical.
Thanks, Manish. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm on the laptop for a change. So good. Yeah, so this company is stirring up some, or making me relive some bad memories. But let me cover the review. I'll cover it quickly. So it's a fairly simple company to understand, and we've had a couple of years, like you said, in the SME space. So there are fairly good comparables also. So this company is slightly different in that they manufacture, so they principally manufacture transformer components, which is stuff like those, the laminations and the slit coils, the cores, the core assemblies, and so on, which are the largest part of a transformer, maybe 30, 35, or 35 to 40% of the cost of a transformer is these components. But apart from that, what they also do a little different is they also make some manufacture some transformers themselves. These are low voltage, single phase, 5 kVA to 10 MVA, so low to medium. So you can say these are more of distribution and like the lower end of power transformers. And then they also do a small amount of EPC work also, which is the kind of work that a Transrail or a Rajesh Power do, but that's again a very tiny part of the business. So if you look at their overall business, 70% is this transformer component business, 25% is the transformer distribution, low end transformer business, I'd say, and then 5% is the EPC business. Today, this company has 5 different production facilities. From a capacity standpoint, they have about a 16,000 metric ton capacity for the transformer components, the core components, the laminations, and so on. They have a 10 lakh kVA for regular transformers, and a small amount. I mean, of course, EPC does not have a capacity, but some of the other small things, they have a little bit of capacity, but that doesn't really move the needle. So the most important thing for this company, and what is important for the valuation of this segment, is that they have a lot of certifications and approvals that, and I'll lay out where the others are also on this, but they have a lot of certifications, approvals that allows them to do work, get orders that have lesser and lesser competition. So simply making transformer laminations is a fairly low margin, somewhat commoditized business. But as you become larger, as you get more certifications, as you set up your own in-house testing labs, you get, say, PGCIL approvals for different rating classes of transformers. So for example, what these guys have said in the interviews is they have the PGCIL approvals up to 765, which is the highest class. So 400 kV and 765 are these the higher end of power transformers. For they have the ability to supply even for that. For instance, JB Laminations has this approval only till 400 kV, which itself is actually very good, whereas a Velas Transcore actually only has approvals till 220 kV. So logically speaking, these guys would have the more they can do from this higher kV class business, the higher their margins will be, which is where the differentiation comes, because there is less competition as you go higher up this chain. They have, as a company, they have very, very good clients. They work with almost everybody, all the major transformer players. One thing is their largest client is Starrell, who had acquired, I think, another competitor of theirs. I'm forgetting the name now, but they had acquired a competitor. So because they're the largest client, I don't know how this will affect their business, or if it will make some dent to their top line if Starrell decides to kind of source that in-house. But okay, that was not something I could see being covered anywhere. Overall, this business, like each segment, operates a little differently from an order book standpoint. Your laminations and transformer business. So lamination business especially is more of a spot ordering kind of business. The transformer and the EPC business, they have about 290 odd crore order book, which is okay. I mean, the EPC, for example, is just 5% of their business, so it doesn't say too much because clearly they're executing these projects slowly. So just coming to how we can value this, or before that, let me just say one more thing. They are using their funds for 3 things. The interesting or good thing about this is it's a mainboard company with no OFS, which is extremely rare. All of the money is going to be put back into the company. So 100 crores being used to pay debt, where there will be a small PAT improvement of say 6 to 7 crore at a bottom line level. Another 100 crore is being used for working capital, and 90 crore is being used for capex. So their current capacity, which is the transformer components, the lamination stuff, they are at about 16,000. They are taking that to around 30,000 MTPA. Today, their capacity utilization here is around 57-58%. So they basically, when they take it to 30,000, there's a lot of room, and this will sort of take care of their growth for a decent amount of time. This capacity will go live by this particular transformer lamination capacity will go live by, I think, January of the coming year. So this will kind of show in their revenue and numbers, or should show in their revenue and numbers quite soon, and they don't have to worry about additional capacity. The other bits that they're doing, which is creating transformer tanks, which is a completely new component, as well as their core transformer manufacturing, that will take some more time. It will be only end of next year. So I'm not really looking at that currently. I'm not even sure exactly how much that goes up by. It is not specified. So this company has shown their P&L is great. They've grown healthily around 20-25% year on year. The last year, that is FY25, they did about a 540 crore top line with about 47 crore PAT. They did around 14% EBITDA, 8.5-9% PAT, which is solid, which is like better than the two peers that are there, Vilas and JB, which again shows the impact of your PGCIL order, the PGCIL segment, which had come in FY25. There is some worsening in the balance sheet and the cash flows, which I'm not sure why I'm not sure why in this year it has gotten worse, but you can see that the same thing has happened for both Vilas and JB also, where till FY24 they all had pristine balance sheets and cash flows, but you can see that the cash flows have suddenly worsened in FY25. So I'm not too sure exactly what the reason. I was mentioning about the margins. One thing the promoter said in a call is that this business typically is an 8 to 10% EBITDA margin. Now with the higher classes, they are moving to 12 to, they can keep their business at a sustained 12 to 14%. In FY25, they did 14.5%, but he's saying it'll be in the 12 to 14%. So, and this is in line with what the JB Lamination will ask. Like all of these guys are saying that broadly this is the range that it'll be, but it feels like the next year there may be a reduction in margin if it comes back to this 13%, 14%, or 12 to 14% range. Just something to watch out for. This company will grow 20 to 25% year on year as per the promoter. This is low for SME growth hungry investors, but reasonably strong for Mainboard investors. I think there'll be good visibility. This is a sector which, at least for the next 5 to 10 years, there is no shortage of demand. And when you have some moat in some of these approvals and you're not competing with every other, mom and pop player, you can grow while maintaining your margin. So I think it is fair to assume that these guys will be able to show 20 to 25% growth at least for the next three years or so. On the valuations are a little all over the place, and this is where my concern personally is. So this company is coming at around 32 times trailing, that is on FY25, and probably around 25 times on FY26, if you assume that some amount of debt is also repaid. Little bit of that goodness will also come. It comes around 25 times FY26. The two SME peers, JB and Vilas, JB trades at 20 times trailing and 12 times FY26. Vilas trades at 37 times trailing and 22 times FY26. So, and I'm keeping these as the main peer because 70% of Mangal's business is just a one-to-one business with JB and Vilas, with an addition of, say, the 765 kV class, which say JB doesn't have. There are many transformer companies today, Mainboard, SME, all of them trade at around 27, 28 or 25, 26, let's say at the lower end, like an Indotech or a Supreme Power, to a 30 to 34, 33, 34 for a Danish and a Shilcha. The only exception is Tarrell, but that's a different league of, in terms of what they do and the growth that they're forecasting. For a transformer component player to come at 32 times trailing with 25 times 1 year forward, I know Vilas is at a similar valuation. Part of that is also because Vilas has a very, very strong balance sheet. But yeah, whatever. I don't fully understand that anyway. I feel this for a transformer lamination player, it is a little too expensive. The only player, honestly, that has anything left on the table is the one that gave the worst results last time. So it continues to be battered. But maybe, someday that will also reflect some of the other valuations in the segment. But these guys are definitely coming at slightly higher than I would feel comfortable with. I feel this is a fair place for it to trade for some time, and then there's no real re-rating left, and it will only move with results. So, I think my view I will give at the end. One more point is I think Abacus is the largest anchor, which is good, which is Sunil Singhania's fund, but most of the others were very, very normal funds. I'll share my view at the end, but this is a summary of the company and the business. Hope this is helpful.
थैंक यू सो मच रोहित. काफी अच्छा है नहीं है कि तुम एसएमई को छोड़ के मेन बोर्ड में रेस कर लो. ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर रेस, गेट अ हायर वैल्यूएशन, slower growth, yet people are just okay simply because they feel ki like
Yeah, I mean,
it's main board.
to be fair, see, even the pure transformer players, even the ones with very strong margins, a decent moat, with like 25-30% growth projections, are actually getting in this 27, 28, 32, 34. Like Indotech is at 27 times. This Shilchar is at what, 33, 34. It's not like, I think Voltamp is also not trading at Voltamp, of course, is much slower, like is not guiding for such like is guiding for far lower growth. But most of these guys are trading in the 25 to 30-ish, 30 at max 33, 34 times. It's not like they're the core transformer players are trading at 40, 45 times like they were not long ago. A couple of months ago, they were actually fairly expensive. But post these latest results, they've all normalized quite a bit. So maybe the Q1 numbers for Mangal will normalize as 32 to maybe 28 or something, 28, 29. But I still feel personally it is a little high for a lamination player. I mean, this is a proxy to transformers, which itself is a proxy to the power segment. So it should logically always trade lower unless they're promising exceptional growth. Like a Velas, whatever it is the one guy who's guiding for 60% growth, which is what gives it premium on a 1 year or a 2 year forward basis. That's not what I hear from the promoters for this particular company. So I am a little, I mean, I'm giving my view, but I'm honestly quite neutral on this. I mean, I don't think you'll go wrong if you apply and hold it and are just willing to, ride the 25-30% kind of earnings growth or 30-35% earnings growth over the next 1-2 years. If the overall segment does not derate, there's no harm. I mean, this business should do okay, but there's no re-rating left, is in my view. And so
Understood.
jump that you'll get here.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So you're basically saying that since it's a proxy to transformers, it should get slight discount to your transformer players. Can you also talk a bit about the promoter group? I saw that the promoter group had a listed company. So how does that help? Does that help in any possible way or something like that? Or you feel, because it's the same industry, right? End of the day.
Yeah. So the promoter group is the same promoter group as Dynamic Cables, which is a 2,000 crore listed company. That company trades at 27, 28 times. And it's not like that segment or that company has done that well. It has, of course, done well over a long period of time. It has done very, very well. But in the recent months, despite actually doing well, giving good numbers, that segment itself has gotten slightly derated. It was trading at anywhere from 35 to 40 times. It has come down to 25, 27 times now. Whether you look at this company, Universal Cables, Birla Cables, all of them are in that range. So we've seen a couple of recent SME, one Badora that came recently. One more is coming, JD Cables. So these are all, it's not like this segment is getting a very high multiple either. So probably the promoters understand the markets, but beyond the point, I don't put a lot of weight. It's still a smallish company. It's not like Dynamic Cables is a 10,000, 15,000 crore market cap company. So I don't see any reason why Dynamic trades at 27 times and this should trade, because of it, this should trade at 40 PE or something.
Understood. Super helpful. So maybe with that we have covered the second company. हमने second company की बात कर ली है, which is Mangal Electrical. अगर आपने कोई issue की बात अभी तक नहीं सुनी है, हमने दो cover कर लिए हैं, Patel Retail and Mangal Electrical. Go ahead and follow the YouTube channel, link to which is in the pinned comments. We look forward to seeing. I will post this video, audio with video summary there tomorrow. So give us some time, we'll post all of these companies there with that. But let me move forward and talk about the third company before I actually introduce third company. Just want to introduce and welcome Saurabh on the panel as well. Saurabh is someone whom I have been following for quite some time. Does very good work in terms of just posting one pages. I know I have stopped posting one pages, so in a way he has picked it up. So thank you so much, Saurabh, for everything that you are doing. And like if everyone can just follow Saurabh as well, he kind of posts good content. But with that, let me just quickly set up. Saurabh, you'll have to go on mute while I kind of introduce because it's a eco. Thank you. Let me just quickly set up ShreeJi Shipping Global. 1995 में company start हुई थी, and it's a shipping and logistics company focusing on dry bulk cargo and primarily focuses on non-major ports and jetties, especially along the west coast of India like Bhavnagar, Magdala, Naulaki, etc. The company presently operates a fleet that exceeds 80 vessels. So company basically shipping company है, logistics में काम करती है, bulk cargo वगैरह में. Setting up the IPO, it's a 410 crore IPO, all of which is a fresh issue. 410 crore का IPO है. Market cap 4105 crore है. 4100 crore की market cap है, which is like $500 million. And company सिर्फ 10% dilute कर रही है, which is rather less. In terms of FY25 financials, 610 crore का top line है, 140 crore का bottom line है, 141 crores का. So it's coming at like 25p trailing, which seems better than the two companies that we spoke about, like all the different segments, so you'll understand. In terms of the LM is Beeline. So SME ka LM, but decent repute. With that, over to you, Saurabh, to talk about CG.
Hi, thanks, Manish. Am I loud and clear?
Yeah.
Hey, so thanks for the introduction, first of all. Getting on with the IPO, this is a flagship company of the ShreeJi Group of Jamnagar. So this is a 30-year-old family-owned business group. So fairly diversified. They have about 25 group companies in various businesses. But their main focus is on shipping, marine logistics through this company. So it's actually a quite respected name in Jamnagar. I think they have some political connections as well. The family does. The group was started by two brothers, Ashok and Jitendra Lal, and now the second generation is kind of starting to take over. So that is about the company. I actually spoke with a few people who have worked with the group, and the feedback is quite positive. Everyone seems to think the promoters are quite sincere and above the board in all their dealings. Little things like paying vendors on time, helping develop vendors, develop their business, grow with them, those sort of things. So in that way, some positives about the promoters. The main business that they do is dry bulk cargo handling. So dry bulk cargo, for those who don't know, is solid commodities that are transported in like large quantities without any packaging. They are just directly loaded in open containers into the ship's hold. Like coal, cement, sand, those commodities. So these guys work in around 20 non-major ports in India and one port in Sri Lanka. So the non-major port is, it sounds something like they're doing some kind of inferior business, but it's just that smaller ports that are run by the state government. So there are about 270 non-major ports in India and around 12 major ports. So they do offer some services in major ports, but it's like very small part of their business, and I don't think they're focusing on that as well as of now. Like you said, they have about 83 vessels and 370 plus heavy earth moving equipment. In one of the interviews, I think the promoter mentioned that this fleet is like the largest size for competitors in this space. So that's another positive, I think. They have about 1,100 permanent employees on the rolls. So this cargo handling business is about 80% of their business in FY25. Another part of their business is transportation. So what they do is they don't just do the cargo handling at the port itself. They actually bring the commodity that they've unloaded right to the doorstep of the receiver. So it's kind of like a additional service. They have their own warehousing, their own logistic network, that the dry bulk cargo is delivered right to the premise, and they also pick up and deliver to the ship. So this cargo handling that they do, I'd like to talk a bit about that. It's something called a lighterage service. So what happens is when your big ocean faring, deep sea faring ships come into the ports, they might not be able to dock. They'll have to anchor somewhere in the deep sea, and because of the depth requirements and the draft, or maybe the tide not being conducive, they'll have to hire these smaller ships or barges to come and unload part of the load or all the load and take it to the port. So they'll make like multiple trips to and fro and unload and get the load to the port. So that's what they do. It's quite a specialized business, I feel. There are some companies which do this, but nobody is really specialized in this business. And they also mentioned in the RFP there's no listed peer doing this. So all their competitors are unlisted, and they are probably the biggest among them. They're primarily in Gujarat, which is good because Gujarat is handling more 60-65% of the total cargo that is handled in non-major ports happens in Gujarat. So talking a bit about the IPO, like you said, the IPO size is small. They are just diluting 10% of the 4,000 crore market cap. They are using 250 crores of this to buy something called Supramax dry bulk carrier. So this is like those huge barges, like 50,000, 65,000 deadweight tonnage barges. And this is kind of a vertical integration for them. So with this vessel, they will be able to transport the goods in the deep sea as well. So not just taking the goods from the port to the deep sea, but taking it to the point where it is going to be unloaded or loaded again. So this could be like a coast to coast, east coast to west coast kind of route, or maybe even Sri Lanka is one of the export that they do. They might even go to like east coast Africa, something like that. They haven't specifically mentioned, but it looks like this is what they want to do. So going to the financials, so one red flag I saw here is that revenue has actually declined year on year. So FY23 they were doing 827 crores and ended up doing 610 crores in FY25. So quite a significant drop. There is a reason for this as well. The promoter wasn't really forthcoming in any interview about the reasons, but going into the RHP, it feels like they lost a couple of customers every year. So they lost one customer in FY24, they lost another customer in FY25. And I think this is one of the business risks that they have. Like most of their top 10 customers are about 60% of their revenue, and their top customer is 20%. So they might lose business in some year, the revenue might be a little volatile, but the good thing is their PAT has increased year on year, about 10-15% every year they've increased PAT. Mostly, as per the promoter, it's mostly from operational efficiencies. You can see in some of the metrics as well, like the average fleet idle days has come down from 79 to 58, which is quite significant. And they've kind of reduced their workforce as well. And one more thing I got to know from one of their suppliers is that they used to do repair and maintenance for their fleet. They used to outsource it, and now they do it in-house. So they've probably been reducing costs over there. So in terms of the industry itself, right? The industry itself, it's a growing industry definitely. And at the end of the day, if India has to grow at 6, 7, 8% GDP growth, this industry needs to grow by 10, 12%. So the cargo handling tonnage industry, for example, grows at a CAGR of 10%. It's expected to reach 208,000 million metric tons by FY30 from 1,500 currently. So industry is good. All in all, I think this company has carved out a niche for itself in a good industry, a growing industry. They don't have really any listed peers, so valuations are a bit tricky to understand. 29x trailing, and with some debt repayment, like you said, it might come to 25, 26. Sounds a little at the higher side, because if you see CMAC, transferred all these other logistics and shipping companies, they are in the 15-20 range, right? But they've traded in the past at 40-50 PE. So uh, can't really take a call on the valuation front. Other than that, I think, like I said, the business is good, the promoters are good. Maybe a good company to have in the portfolio and see how the story plays out. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much, Saurabh. I somehow got super turned off with respect to कि यार तुम्हारा रेवेन्यू 3 साल से डिग्रो हो रहा है, छोटा मोटा नहीं डिग्रो होता है, राइट? 800 से 700, 700 से 600, एंड somehow at the same period of time तुम्हारा प्रॉफिट इंक्रीज हो रहा है, पैट मार्जिन इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं, राइट? सो there's this concept of mean reversion where like your margins are already going towards the higher, right? तुम 3 साल से margins increase हो रहे हैं, so by definition they need to revert back to the mean, right? So because of which I'm slightly negative on the company for the lack of a better word. In fact, this reminds me of that company. If you saw Beeline का एक और इशू आया था अभी बोरोना वीव्स, उसमें भी ऐसा था कि इंडस्ट्री से में जो मार्जिन बनता है उससे ज्यादा मार्जिन था उसका, एंड लाइक देयर वाज अ जस्टिफिकेशन कि यार ये हो रहा है, गुजरात बेस्ड कंपनी थी वो भी, कि they were able to better utilize their machines etc, but somehow that doesn't play out, and we saw उसकी भी listing was relatively pretty weak. It was a smallish issue. I feel somehow this is like very similar to a Borana Weaves. Maybe better
हाँ,
industry, maybe not. I don't know.
डेफिनेटली. हाँ, डेफिनेटली मनी. आई थिंक ये मुझे भी काफ़ी ऑड लगा क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री तो ग्रो कर रही है. ग्रोइंग इंडस्ट्री में आपका डिक्लाइनिंग रेवेन्यू तो इट्स ऑलवेज रेड फ्लैग. बट अगेन लाइक one of the explanation is it could be a one time thing that happened twice. So they lost one customer in FY24 and another customer in FY25, but they added others. Maybe the revenue needs to kick in, you know. Uh, on the growth front, they one of the interviews they were asked directly, you know, where the growth is going to come from, and I think the vertical integration, right, by buying this Supramax carrier, they'll be able to offer, it's like a vertical integration for them, so might be able to pull in more customers and higher value contracts from there. So yeah, you're right. Falling revenues are never a good sign for any business, and margin also 33% EBITDA और 23% PAT कितना sustainable है इस business में, remains to be seen.
Got it. One more question. I'm not sure if you know, but Supramax ka, what do you think is the potential, like in terms of percentage of revenue over the next 2-3 years, or like is there any guidance which is available, or is there something which is complete guesswork right now, or no?
हाँ, तो it's complete guesswork right now. On the promoters claim that this is a demand from the existing customers. So they say that once the ship is commissioned, they've already taken quotations, I think. शिप कमीशन होने के बाद इमीडिएटली कस्टमर रेडी है उनके हिसाब से. तो इन टर्म्स ऑफ आई डोंट नो व्हाट कंट्रीब्यूशन इट विल गिव टू द रेवेन्यू, बट या आई थिंक दिस ईयर मे बी हाफ फुल इम्पैक्ट तो नहीं होगा, हाफ ईयर में इम्पैक्ट मिल जाए तो मे बी 10% लाइक कंट्रीब्यूशन दिस ईयर एंड 20-25% next year is what I feel personally.
Got it. But that should then essentially lead to an increase in receivables ideally, right?
Yeah. Well, balance sheet is strong, cash flow तो अच्छा है.
Got it. Promoter group is also decent, right? Plus a small size issue. So if I am not super positive on the company, plus बहुत सारे options है, so I will probably avoid. And I've been doing the liberty of talking about the views as well. Also, although we said we'll kind of say towards the end. But yeah, anything else that you have sort of on your
No, that's about it. Yeah, it's a iffy IPO for me also.
Perfect. Thank you so much for covering this. Thank you for joining us today as well and doing this. Really means a lot for us. What we are trying to do is कि एक panel बना रहे हैं जिससे like it the IP becomes enlist independent, and we just kind of review. And if there are more people, there are more conflicting opinions, and it just becomes a slightly more constructive discussion, right? Because what we don't want to do is कि सबका एक ही view है और हम ये सब करने वाले हैं. Just open discussion in terms of like the IPOs which are coming, people who are slightly like interested in that space. It's nerdy discussions on that. So thank you for joining.
Sure, man.
Yeah. With that, let me move forward and talk about the fourth company. We're running slightly short on time, so it's Gem Aromatics. Gem and Vikram is where a lot of confusion is. So maybe just setting up Gem, incorporated in 1997. Company जो है वो manufacture करती है specialty ingredients like essential oils, aroma chemicals and value added derivatives in India. जो कंपनी के प्रोडक्ट्स हैं वो ओरल केयर, कॉस्मेटिक्स, न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल्स, फार्मास्यूटिकल्स, FMCG, पेन मैनेजमेंट वगैरह में यूज होते हैं. So it's in like aroma and like perfumes, flavors, etc. जो smells होती हैं, that is what the company manufactures, for the lack of a better word. Setting up the IPO, it's a very small IPO, 451 crores, 175 CR fresh issue है. Major 275 CR का OFS है, so just 175 CR is going into the company. And most of the raise is essentially a secondary where promoters taking a part exit. Market cap जिस पे कंपनी आ रही है वो 1700 करोड़ है, 1700 crores. So 1700 पे 451 का raise है, so close to like 1734, 51. So like 22-23%. FY25 financials की बात करूं तो revenue 500 करोड़ का है, 505 CR, and PAT 53 crores का है. 53 crores के PAT पे it's coming at like 32 P. Again the standard similar PAT. It seems like जैसे SME में होता है 15 P. Remember Ellenbury was a issue. So with that, maybe over to you, Yash. You are also back after a long time. Happy welcome back, and if you can talk about Gem Aromatics.
Hey Manish, is my voice audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Uh, so this is the Mainboard company, but I'll not take much time. I have specific few pointers on what I like and what are the negatives for the company, which I have found. So company is a manufacturer of specialty ingredients, which includes essential oils, aroma chemicals, and other value-added derivatives. They have very vast history of their operations in India, uh, more than 100 years. They have also very comprehensive and very large customer base. Uh, Mostly they serve wide range of industries, oral care, cosmetics, nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, and personal care types. So the company has established a very dominant position in terms of the DMO, which is demethanolized mint oil, clove oil, and aguin oil, and eucalyptus oil in India. So in terms of how I would like to see this company is 1500-1600 करोड़ का मार्केट कैप है, जिसमें in terms of mint, which is peperita, crude mint oil from mentha awareness, ये जो केमिकल है इसका 3% मार्केट शेयर जेम होल्ड करता है, 15% इज बाय हर्बोकेम. तो वन ऑफ द लार्ज प्रोड्यूसर्स ऑफ मिंट ऑयल है इन इंडिया में. बहुत अच्छा स्केल फैसिलिटी बना रखा है मिंट डेरिवेटिव्स का थ्रू बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन, और सोर्सिंग करते हैं ये लोग अपने मेंथा अवेयरनेस से. ठीक है. और जेम इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट प्रोसेसर्स ऑफ डीएमओ and among highest producers of piperita by volume. The another product which they have is methanol. Personal care, pharmaceuticals, beverages में काफी यूज करा जाता है. They also have key, I would say, key position in India's methanol market. जो सोर्सिंग करते हैं ये लोग मिंट ऑयल से, प्रोसेसिंग करते हैं, बहुत वेरियस मिंट बेस्ड डेरिवेटिव्स बनाते हैं, मेथनॉल फ्लेक्स हो गया, क्रिस्टल्स हो गया. ठीक है. तो बेसिकली ये काम ये लोग एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं. इनके पास 5% मार्केट शेयर है. देन डीएमओ इज वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट प्रोडक्ट पोर्टफोलियो इनके, उसमें ऐसा बोल सकते हैं. 12% मार्केट शेयर होल्ड करता है. पूरा बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन से फैसिलिटी बना रखा है और बहुत डोमिनेंस है मार्केट में. देन देर इज क्लोवाइल, 28% मार्केट शेयर है. फार्मा में यूज होता है, अल्टरनेटिव मेडिसिन में यूज होता है, फ्लेवरिंग के लिए यूज करा जाता है. और जेम इज key participant in this niche segment and operating at a very good scale. As I told, that 28% market share है. और जो इनके पास इतने टाइम से केमिकल प्रोसेसिंग की कैपेबिलिटीज है, इसकी वजह से कंपनी ने सप्लाई साइड में दोनों चीजों का टेकन केयर करा है, विच इज द क्रूड एंड द वैल्यू एडेड डेरिवेटिव्स जो क्लोव ऑयल से बनते हैं. देन देर इज यूगिनॉल, विच इज in which GEM holds 65% market share. This ethanol is derived from guaiacol and clove oil, and this is used in pharmaceutical fragrances and to preserve food also. जो फ्रूट प्रिजर्वेटिव्स होते हैं उसमें भी यूज करा जाता है. तो ये जो पूरा फैसिलिटी है इनका इस चीज का, दिस इज वर्टिकली इंटीग्रेटेड एंड दिस इज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय यूजिंग क्लीन मेथालेशन फ्रॉम गुआकोल. तो इसका जो टेक्नोलॉजी है ये इनके इन हाउस R&D ने डेवलप करा है. दे हैव, आई गेस एज फार एज आई रिमेम्बर, 10 to 11 सीनियर साइंटिस्ट जो ये काम बैठ के करते हैं. नाउ अनदर प्रोडक्ट विच is one of the futuristic product for them is guaiacol, which is important chemical precursor to ethanol. तो इगेनॉल में ऑलरेडी मार्केट शेयर में 65% दे होल्ड्स इट, और ये प्रिकर्सर है इस चीज का. मार्केट शेयर की बात करूं तो क्लीन साइंस 82% मार्केट शेयर होल्ड करता है. कैमलिन फिन साइंसेस 13% मार्केट शेयर होल्ड करता है इस केमिकल का. द आइडिया इज कि अगर वो इगेनॉल ऑलरेडी डिराइव कर रहे हैं बाय यूजिंग रॉ मटेरियल एंड सोर्सिंग इट फ्रॉम अदर वेंडर्स, तो इट्स हाईली लाइकली दैट दे विल बी वेरी सक्सेसफुल बाय यूजिंग देयर ओन गुआकॉल, एंड उससे मार्जिन भी बेटर होने वाले हैं कंपनी के फॉरवर्ड में. ठीक है. देन देर इज एनीथोल विच इज यूज्ड इन फ्रेग्रेंस एंड फार्मास्यूटिकल्स. इसका बाय वॉल्यूम 16% मार्केट शेयर होल्ड करता है जेम. अतुल लिमिटेड के पास 35% है. एक्लिप्टस ऑयल काफी ज्यादा कॉस्मेटिक्स में, मेडिसिन में, पर्सनल केयर में यूज किया जाता है और बहुत ज्यादा प्रोड्यूस होता है ये आंध्र प्रदेश, तेलंगाना, तमिलनाडु साइड. इसमें भी इंडिया का मार्केट शेयर is dominated by GEM by holding 58% market share. So how would I like to value this company is कि 1500-1600 करोड़ में मेजोरिटी ऑफ वेरी, मतलब एफएमसीजी का प्रॉक्सी है एक तो. ठीक है. आपके कॉस्मेटिक्स, मेडिसिन, पर्सनल केयर, देन टूथपेस्ट, कोलगेट, इन सब, मतलब इन सब चीजों में यूज होता है. ऑल्सो फिफ्थ जनरेशन प्रमोटर्स हैं, डूइंग बिजनेस फ्रॉम लास्ट मोर देन 100 years. 50+ years से तो कोलगेट वगैरह को सप्लाई कर रहा है. ठीक है. तो द स्टिकीनेस इज, मतलब आई एम सीइंग द स्टिकीनेस इन द बिजनेस, जो कि ऑलरेडी दिख रहा है इतने टाइम से. अगर ये काम कर रहा है तो ऑब्वियसली स्टिकीनेस है, तभी यहाँ तक कर पा रहा है. ऑल्सो स्ट्रैटेजिक इन्वेस्टमेंट भी हो रखा है इसमें डोटेरा ग्लोबल का, जिसके साथ इन्होंने साइन कर रखा है टर्म एग्रीमेंट टू सप्लाई टिल 2028, which will enhance both of their companies का फ्यूचर ग्रोथ. एसेंशियल ऑयल्स में पोजीशन है इंडिया में, जैसा कि आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन कि कौन से केमिकल्स किस चीज में यूज होते हैं एंड व्हाट इज द परसेंटेज मार्केट शेयर ऑफ जेम. फॉरवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन कर रहा है. ठीक है. मार्जिन्स बेटर हो रहे हैं. सीडीएमओ वगैरह साइड भी एंटर करेगा फ्यूचर में. They also have option for the peptides, which are again, very futuristic in terms of the use case of the chemicals. Last 3 years say there is not much growth in terms of the profit and the revenues of the company. These are because the capacity are being utilized very well. Peer comparison की बात करूं तो Clean Science is one. I have also seen Yasho Industries in few of the chemicals, and Yasho is holding majority of the market share. In terms of future earnings, अगर मैं इसे price in करना चाहूँ तो what I have heard is कि 15% 15 to 20% is what their target is to grow next 2 to 3 years. Okay. तो अगर मैं इसी बेस पे वैल्यूएशन करता हूँ तो अराउंड मोटा-मोटी 28, 20, 30 times FY 27 types कुछ. No, sorry. So FY 26 they'll grow 15%, and FY 27 they'll try to grow 30 to 40% with the new capacity which they are bringing in with some inorganic acquisition, which is their own company. तो उसके बाद जब वो जो फ्रेश कैपेसिटी बनेगा उसके ऊपर they'll try to grow 30% FY 27 में. तो this company is valued at 15 times FY 27. Given the stickiness, market share at such small market cap, and MNC का stake है, MNC के साथ lease agreement है, तो multiples should be taken care by the market, and I think is a very good apply in terms of anyone who can hold for a long period of time should apply and accumulate from screen as well. At 1700 crore valuation, I don't think this company is very bad. मतलब at 1700 crore valuation, this company is looking like a very good investment opportunity for the long-term investors.
Perfect. Thank you, Yash, for doing it. You seem slightly tired
Also,
today.
Manisha, I forgot
Hmm.
few negative points which I had in my mind. The first one
Hmm.
is some promoter group ने willful defaulter करके has done something. I did not write in a more detail because I was obviously very fantasized by the business of the company and how they are running things from so many years. और the second thing is कि इनका एक प्लांट है जिसके ऊपर सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे लिटिगेशन चल रहा है. And the third point is the impact of that Supreme Court वाला litigation is not very clear to me. तो वो एक चीज है, but still overall I like the company and I'm very positive about it.
सो मैं बता देता हूँ कि ये जो आपका विशफुल डिफॉल्टर का चीज है ना, सो देयर वाज अ रिलेटिव ऑफ द प्रमोटर्स हु वाज अ विशफुल डिफॉल्टर इन आई गेस प्रोप्राइटर और एलएलपी, जो बहुत पुराना मैटर है ना, एंड इट वाज प्रूव टू सेबी कि पिछले 15 साल में वी हैव नो रिलेशन विद द गाय, इट्स एन आर्म्स लेंथ रिलेशन. तो सेबी हैड क्लियर्ड दैट. And so I feel that's not a concern. Yes, wishful defaulter always markets react negatively, but I feel that there's no concern on that end.
Thank you, Yash. Tanmay came in from my phone. But yeah, thank you for covering the company. I also kind of like the company. Very small market cap. FMCG proxy. FMCG just tends to get a higher PE because it's a like the length of that business. It is generally understood to be higher. Like people just give it the longevity multiple per se कि ये business रहेगा, will be around, so that because of it just trades at a super abnormal PE even with lower growth. Now that capex would come in or like so that growth should essentially be factored in. But just want to highlight the IPOs are not popping. It's a very choppy market. So I'm not expecting crazy gains or even for that matter, a lot of gains. But I would be making a position in this company at or around IPO price. I will definitely be applying for this IPO. On my own personal line, you do you. But that is what our review was with respect to Gem Aromatics. Just one thing I saw, Anchor Book was also pretty decent for the kind of size of the IPO. It's a 400 CR IPO, so very small anchor book end of the day, right? Around 100 CR, but then there was Nippon on it, which had set in with some 30% of the anchor book. Then there was Sage One, which is FII who was holding close to 20%. Then there were a few other uh, names as well, which seemed pretty interesting, and I definitely liked the anchor book. So that is also good. Like there were very few. For the lack of a better word, SME flippers, which are usually there. Sansi had also taken a stake from Mukul Agrawal's fund, but that is something which is very common with respect to a lot of new IPOs. Uh, But yeah, it's interesting. This company, I kind of like the valuation, but again, want to highlight that these are very choppy markets, and choppy markets are good for building positions over long term. This end of the day is a FMCG proxy, right? So should be probably valued at a FMCG multiple, I feel, because like these are sticky businesses, right? Just a Colgate in client for, from what I understand, close to 50 years. That's not changing, right? So it's like a continued revenue, and that will continue for quite some time, and will go on. And like this growth, which will come in, that will give it a even more further. Like I feel इसका growth बहुत जल्दी discount होगा. Like इसका forward earnings discount होगा is what I feel. So I'm interested in the story. It could have been slightly cheaper, but again, it's a small size IPO. Not thinking more of it. I don't know how it will pop, but I'm definitely interested in it for the long term view. And anything in short term in a choppy market is anyways very difficult to say, right? So that is what I would be doing. I would be applying to this company. We'll still kind of create a end list at the end. But yeah, with that, let me move forward to Vikram Solar and talk about the last company for the day. In the meanwhile, if you liking the space, if you something you enjoy, please definitely tell us your views about the space in comments. We're slightly tired after a long day, so you would see that. But yeah, just let us know if it's something which you enjoy. Will really help, and then definitely follow the YouTube channel as well, and follow all of us here on Twitter as well. With that, let me just quickly move forward and talk about Vikram Solar. Setting up Vikram Solar 2006 में कंपनी बनी है, 2006 में. It's a solar photovoltaic PV module manufacturer. कंपनी comprehensive EPC solution और O&M services भी देती है, but majorly it's a module manufacturer, solar module manufacturer. इसकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी कोलकाता और चेन्नई में है, दो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटीज हैं. सेटिंग अप द आईपीओ, इट्स अ 2100 crores का आईपीओ है, लगभग 2079, आउट ऑफ विच 1500 crores फ्रेश इशू है. अराउंड 580 crores का ओएफएस है, सो 1500 crores ही कंपनी के पास जा रहे हैं. 2100 का टोटल आईपीओ है. मार्केट कैप जो कंपनी आ रहा है वो 1200 करोड़ पे आ रहा है, सो दे आर डाइल्यूटिंग लाइक 18% ऑफ द कंपनी. बहुत बड़ा प्री आईपीओ भी था, so the promoter stake should be much lesser, but at this stage 20% dilution है. FY25 फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो रेवेन्यू 3500 crores था, 3500 crores का रेवेन्यू. पैट 140 crores था. 140 पैट पे this is coming pretty expensive if you think of it like 85 86 p. But then this is a classic business which you don't look at trailing p. This is a business which you look at forward p. I had said we had said the same thing during Premier Energies as well. Is it Premier? Is it not? Probably yes, probably no, but just the market has really changed. Premier got a lot of novelty P re-rating. Will this get? Probably not. But yeah, that is something which you need to find out. In terms of the LM is JM, Noama, Equirus, UPS, Phillip Capital. So with that, over to you, Tanmay, to talk about Vikram Solar.
I'm audible? So Vikram Solar Limited is a Kolkata-based leading solar module manufacturer with an installed capacity of 4.5 gigawatt, out of which 2.85 gigawatt is an enlisted capacity as an ALMM. So what is ALMM? It is an approved list of module manufacturers from the government. The company has two facilities, one in West Bengal, which has 3.2 gigawatt capacity, and another capacity in Tamil Nadu in Chennai, which is 1.3 gigawatt. The company has a pan-India presence, which is in 19 states, 2 union territories, 83 distributors with 250 plus dealers. The company is raising 2079 crores, 2079, out of which 1500 is a fresh issue. Out of that 1500, 1365 crores will go towards the capex, and the rest 135 will be the GCP, and rest 579 crore is an OFS. Now coming on its financials, the FY23 the company did a revenue of 2073 crores and a PAT was 14.5 crores. FY24 revenue was 2511 crores with a PAT of 79.7, roughly 80 crores. And FY25 revenue was 3423 crores and PAT was 140 crores. So it is coming at a valuation of 12,009 crores. So if you just look at the P multiple, it looks like 86k PPR and EV EBITDA at 24.5 times. And now I'll just give you a high level comparison with the three peers which are given in the RHP. Your first is Wari. Wari is at 43 times 25 and 21 की EV EBITDA पे. Premier is at 47 times 25 on P level and 20.8 at EV EBITDA. Websol is at 38.2 times FY25 and 19 times EV EBITDA. तो ये सबका अगर मैं देखूं उसके ऑलमोस्ट डबल पे आ रहा है इन एटलीस्ट ऑन द पी लेवल. बट नाउ यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये क्यों ऐसा है. तो आई विल बैक इट बाय 2-3 डिफरेंट थिंग्स. फर्स्ट इज द केपिक्स. इफ यू लुक एट करंट स्टेट इन पे ऑलमोस्ट 4.5 गीगावाट का सेल है. ठीक है. इन FY26 मतलब करंट फाइनेंशियल ईयर के एंड में इट विल गो फ्रॉम 4.5 to 15.5 गीगावाट. ठीक है. So they are doing one capex in Vallam, Tamil Nadu, which is 5.4 gigawatt, and Gangai Kundam in Tamil Nadu for 6 gigawatt. Okay, so this will take your total module manufacturing, capacity at 15.5 gigawatt. Cell is zero at this point. In FY27, they are doing another 5 gigawatt module, but the cell from zero will go to 12 gigawatt. And they have already started, मतलब IPO capacity, they are also doing an integrated module cell manufacturing unit. तो उसमें they are going to spend money. And the company is doing another 5 gigawatt, 5 GWH in BESS, battery energy solutions, storage solutions. This is the first thing. Ki your capacity is almost, I would say, happening 3.5 times in 26, and it will be almost, I would say, 4.5 times in 27. And cell will be from 0 to 12 gigawatt, and your base is 5 gigawatt. But how are they going to really, build that big capex in that given timeline? The time will tell. We have no answer on this part. The second point, which talk more on the valuation, that ये इतना महंगा क्यों है? I feel that is a more relevant part, and you should listen that very carefully. At this point, Vikram Solar has an order book of 10.3 gigawatt. अभी कोई पूछेगा कि ये रेवेन्यू में कितना हुआ इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्रोर्स, तो आई जस्ट गिव वन ब्रेकअप की 1 गीगावाट का 4, आई जस्ट डू द पार्ट्स एंड मैं बोलूंगा इसका रियलाइजेशन कितना है. द फर्स्ट वुड बी टॉपकॉन सोलर विथ अ सॉलिड रियलाइजेशन विथ अ गुड फैसिलिटी. उसका 1 गीगावाट मोटा मोटी 1600-1700 करोड़ रियलाइज करता है. ठीक है. देयर इज सेकंड व्हिच इज टॉपकॉन विथ लोअर रियलाइजेशन, वो होता है 1500 टाइप्स, 1550 टाइप्स. थर्ड होता है योर बायफोकल और मोनोफोकल एट गुड रियलाइजेशन विच इज एट 1450 types, and one is monoperc and your bifocal at lower realization जो 1300 types होता है. So these guys at this point comes between second and third. They don't have topcon, but they are building topcon in current financial, maybe next 3 to 6 months. And but they have decent, I would say decent to good realization. तो मैं इनको एक second third category के बीच में लेता हूँ, which is approx 1400 types. 1400 crore for 1 gigawatt realization in your solar modules. ठीक है. एंड इसमें जो आपका सेल का पार्ट आएगा, ये आई एम नॉट कंसीडरिंग. ठीक है. दिस इज प्योर प्ले मॉड्यूल. तो इफ आई जस्ट एक्सट्रापोलेट 10.5 गीगावाट इनटू इवन वर्स्ट केस 13.5, उससे नीचे 1350 करोड़ पर गीगावाट, दैट इज द वर्स्ट आई एम कंसीडरिंग. तो उसके हिसाब से 10.5 इज लाइक 14,500 करोड़ का टॉप लाइन, 14,500 करोड़, 1.6 बिलियन डॉलर. यू हैव हर्ड इट राइट. And this order book for 15 to 18 months, मतलब 5 से 6 क्वार्टर का ऑर्डर बुक है. What this means कि अगर इसमें से इन्होंने आधा भी कर लिया है ना, उससे आधा से ज्यादा ही करेंगे, स्टिल इफ यू कंसिडर खाली आधा किया है इन्होंने FY26, इनका रेवेन्यू शुड बी 7,000 crores, which is more than double of your FY25, and this is on lower end. I feel उससे ज्यादा ही होगा. And if you just consider your very very normal margins, which is approx I would take 7.5% PAT and approx 16% EBITDA without considering cell. खाली चाइना से इंपोर्ट सेल करके मॉड्यूल बनाने का ये इतना, they can make 16% EBITDA and like 7.5% PAT. उससे थोड़ा ज्यादा हो सकता है. I'm considering 7.5%. तो इसके हिसाब से your EBITDA comes at roughly 1,200 to 1,300 crores and PAT comes at 500 to 650 crores. This is like very normal. जिस पे चल रहे उसी पे मैं चला रहा हूँ, and just I'm doing the efficiency by taking the proportional depreciation and interest cost. Yes, I have considered the interest cost for the next capex का जो लोन उठाएंगे ना, उसका क्रेडिट लाइन का भी मैंने एक रफ एस्टिमेट के हिसाब से कॉस्ट भी मैंने फैक्टर इन कर लिया. Still they are making like 500 to 650 crore का PAT in current financial year. So if I just put that in the multiples, 16 से 20 का P, 16 to 20 times P FY26 and 12 times EV EBITDA. If I talk on the peers at this point, Wari, if I'm not wrong, is trading at roughly 32 times 26, yes, this doesn't have that holding company का stake. If I consider that, वो 27-28 पे आ जाएगा, ठीक है. And premium is trading roughly at 33 times type FY26. EBITDA पे दोनों 15 टाइम के हिसाब से, ठीक है, 15 टाइम्स दोनों आने चाहिए. एंड दिस इज कमिंग एट रफली 11 टाइम्स, ओके, 10.5 11 टाइम्स. तो what I feel, if the things go great, market will value, but there are many risks. उससे पहले I'll tell one thing, कि at this point I have no sell. So people will treat this company at this point as a module manufacturer only, but eventually they are going to sell, and it is not a very distant thing. I feel what I know is Q2 of next financial year, इनका sell capacity of 4.5 gigawatt कुछ तो live जा रहा है, which the promoter said in an interview. Okay, it's not my own imagination. So I'll talk on the risk, and you should hear those, very carefully. First, litigations, and this is, I would say, the biggest risk. Just I'm reading it out, or just hear it carefully. 4 litigations or proceedings against the company, 2 criminal litigations against the companies, 2 actions taken by the statutory auditors against the company, 5 litigations against directors and managing directors, 3 against promoters, 5 against key managerial people, KMPs, 45 tax litigation जिसका total value is 250 crore, and 2, बाय द वे, ये आरएसपी के 12 और 2 थे जो उन्होंने सेबी को अडेंडम दिया आरएसपी के बाद. तो अगर मैं टोटल मिलाऊं इसका, तो ये इनके पैट का 5 गुना हो जाता है, ठीक है, 4 से 5 गुना. सो आई हैव नो क्लू कि इसमें से कितने मटेरियल हो गए. आई फील एटलीस्ट 10% ऑफ देम शुड मटेरियल, इन दैट इज वेरी ऑब्वियस. 55 नहीं, ज्यादा है, 65 केसेस है इन पे. तो I don't know how is the market going to, take this. And I'll tell you a story. This is my personal thing, okay? So in 24 के अप्रॉक्स, आई वुड से मार्च अप्रैल में इसका प्री आईपीओ राउंड हुआ था, ठीक है. दैट टाइम आई हैड आल्सो गॉट एन ऑफर. तो वी डिड नॉट डू दैट, बट the demand was very subdued. But what happened, it garnered lot of demand, eventually. तो I guess इसका प्री आईपीओ 122 रुपए पे हुआ था, टाइम्स अप्रॉक्स 330 350 कुछ आ रहा है. दैट वाज 4,000 crore नहीं, 4,500 टाइप्स का वैल्यूएशन था. उसमें 731, मतलब ऑलमोस्ट 17-18% डाइल्यूशन था. तो उसमें इन्वेस्ट, आई जस्ट रीड आउट द नेम्स: अर्पित खंडेलवाल ऑफ प्लूटस, निवेशाय, जीवीए, दालमिया फैमिली ऑफिस, कर्नावत वेंचर्स, फिन एवेन्यू, रोहन गुप्ता, कैप्राइज, वोरा फाइनेंशियल, साकेत अग्रवाल, धानुका, एग्रीटेक फैमिली ऑफिस, हल्दीराम, शाइन स्टार. ऑल दीज आर investors in the pre-IPO, which gives a confidence. But when the pre-IPO had opened, the confidence in the market for this company was significantly lower. But it changed. What changed, I don't know. So ये जून में इनका pre-IPO क्लोज हुआ था, okay, and now IPO is coming after 14 months at roughly, I would say, approx 2.5 से 3 गुना टाइप का प्राइस. 5,000 5,500 पे, 5,000 वैल्यूएशन पे हुआ था. इट्स माय बैड, आई टुक, आई गेस 4,500 का नंबर 5,000 पे हुआ था. सो and another 2-3 risks where इनका 5 top 5 customers contribute to 78% of the revenue, and that is, not a big risk, but yes, for sure, revenue concentration is surely a risk. But I feel they are more into B2B. इनका B2C is lesser. They supply to your government institutions. NLC के साथ भी बहुत काम करता है. Various government, I don't have the exact numbers, but they work with lot of government institutions. Another one red flag, not say red flag, but a risk. Out of 100% raw materials they use to manufacture, 81% is imported from China, Southeast Asia, and Middle East Asia. So that risk for sure. China ka wo sara, Thailand, Vietnam, that has a different risk, and we don't know when it is going to become a big risk for the company. ये एक चीज है. बाकी I'll tell one more thing is कि audit is statutory. Auditors have given 3 observations in FY25. उसमें शायद से 2 are like differences in quarterly numbers between banks in terms of working capital, ठीक है, लिमिट्स एंड दी बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स. तो मतलब क्या था, ये बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में वर्किंग कैपिटल कुछ अलग लिमिट दिया और बैंक अकाउंट को उन्होंने क्वार्टरली पे कुछ अलग दिया. तो स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर्स है गिवन ऑब्जर्वेशन ऑन दिस 3 ऑब्जर्वेशन, 2 आर सेम. एक कुछ तो ऐसा था कि 5.25 करोड़ का इनको एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी लगी थी बाय गवर्नमेंट, और वो 6 से 8 महीने से आउटस्टैंडिंग ही पड़ी और उस पर कंपनी ने कोई कुछ किया नहीं. तो दैट इज पेंडिंग. ये एक चीज है. एंड वन मोर स्मॉल रिस्क, नॉट स्मॉल, आउट इट्स अ डिसेंट रिस्क. इनका 10.3 गीगावाट का कैपेसिटी में से खाली 8.66 is domestic, okay, which is 85%. बाकी 1.6 gigawatt is export. And if you just look at, देखो, I'll just tell you the past, ठीक है? FY24, this company had, I would say 60 or 70% of export and 30% or approx 35%, which was in domestic revenue. FY25 में इनका 98% came from India and 1.5% from export. But 1.5 में से, I guess, 1.5 में से 1.45 was your USA. अमेरिका. सो आई अज्यूम 1.6 में से भी एक अच्छा खासा नंबर यूएसए से होगा, एंड विच इज वेरी ऑब्वियस. तो 1.6 गीगावाट के हिसाब से दैट इन ट्रांसलेट्स इनटू अ रेवेन्यूज ऑफ रफली 2300 करोड़, 2200 करोड़ for next, I would say 15 months or 18 months, whatever they take to execute. And another risk is like, of course, इतना बड़ा 15,000 करोड़ का execution of the orders and maybe the delay in production, delay in cell line, that is obvious industry wise or company wise risk. ठीक है? तो another, and there were like, of course, some, I guess, if I'm not wrong, there is some corporate guarantee given by multiple promoter entities to get working capital. There were some defaults during the COVID, and see, COVID में तो बहुतों ने default किए, so it's a risk, but it's a past, and I feel that was a very tough period for everyone in the industry, so that's a different matter. So if I summarize everything, the past had lot of issues, some issues. The future looks bright, but in an IPO, the future for every company looks bright, to be very frank. So I would take in this way, कि let market discover the value, and we as an investor should not tell कि ये होगा वो होगा. But at IPO price, I feel it's not a very bad deal. Like 12,000 पे, if I just take the Eurify 27 capacity, man, 15 gigawatt cell is not a small thing, and 26 में तो यार 12 gigawatt, 15 gigawatt module, and 27 में 10 gigawatt cell बोल रहा है, 20 gigawatt module बोल रहा है. That's a big story, that is really, that takes you near Varis and Premier से तो बहुत बड़ा हो जाएगा, या वारी के लेवल का आ जाएगा. But no, the past has been different tangent, and we don't know कि शायद 1-1.5 साल बाद क्या market इसको पी देगा. You never know, because globally the renewable energy companies have struggled in terms of multiples. It has happened in China. 2005-2010 में 40-50 नहीं, 30-40 का पी मिलता था, अभी ऐसे 5-7 का पी मिल रहा है. आई एम नॉट सेइंग इंडिया 5-7 होगा. इंडिया हैज लाइक ऑलमोस्ट 3 times वैल्यूएशन ऑफ चाइना. इवन इफ आई टेक, अगर 2 साल में इसको 15 पी पे वैल्यू हुआ, दैट इज, आई वुड से, वेरी नॉर्मल. इट्स नॉट वी आर सेइंग कि हो जाएगा. इट इज वेरी डूएबल टास्क. तो यू डोंट नो 2 साल बाद मार्केट एक मॉड्यूल एंटी और सेल रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी कंपनी को कैसे वैल्यू करेगा. बेस का इसमें थोड़ा तड़का लगा है. वी डोंट नो हाउ इज गोइंग टू गेट एग्जीक्यूट. सो देयर आर मेनी इफ्स एंड बट्स. सो आई फील मैं लिस्टिंग पे इस पे पंट नहीं लूंगा. ठीक है? आई वुड से only high risk takers can took on. See, I feel a table pay they have left scope on, even on listing. I'll be very frank, but it is the market who will tell कि ये listing पे क्या करेगा. But I have a feeling कि listing के बाद चलेगा. But for how much, for what valuation, market इसको कितना ये earnings को and discount can, that is, I feel कि जो ये order book दिखा रहा है उसका साला 70-80% भी कर ले, तो भी the PAT is going to be over 400-500 crore. और वो 12,000 पे बुरा नहीं है, तो I feel this company is for small to medium risk takers, but it is not going to be a multi-bagger. हो गया है, I am happy for everyone, but there are many ifs and buts. It's a good company. मतलब I would say the past was on a bad note. I'll be very frank, it was on a bad note. The present is on a neutral note, and there are decent chances that the future is on a bright note. But future is always uncertain. We have no answer to it, what is going to happen. So I would say कि यार अच्छा कंपनी है, but neither I or anyone in the space have the answers कि future कैसा रहेगा. So you take your own call. But company isn't bad, but neither super good कि मैं इसको कूद के लगा दूं, that way. I have better options available outside. तो listing पे I feel एक छोटा मोटा listing इन दे सकता है. You never know. I don't have idea, but I have feeling वो देगा. And on long term, let markets decide their own. Valuation for such a company is very complex for anyone, either me or anyone in the panel, or either anyone of the followers who are listeners who are listening to this space. So I have no idea long term में कैसे value होगा. But what things are on the table which are official in the RHP. जो order book है, जो timeline उसके हिसाब से the things look great, but will market factor in the past towards valuing this company? I have no idea. So there is a lot of what can I say, personal take of every individual depending on the risk appetite for this company. But if I want to give one word, I'm saying I'm slightly bullish, not bearish, not I would say neutral. हूँ मैं. I'm very neutral, a bit 55% bullish. I would say out of 100, like 5.5 out of 10, I'll give the rating. So that way you have to treat it.
Thank you so much, Tanmay, for this. काफी comprehensive review. I also feel कि at least IPO price protect होगा. So there's nothing to lose in the company. This is one of those slightly biggest size issues, but इसमें शायद retail 10% है, right? So end of the day, it becomes a smaller issue at least on retail, and big HNI, SHNI will still be slightly bigger. Good theme, but probably slightly out of favor. At least like the derating has also happened slightly for Premier and Vari of the world. So it's थोड़ा सा late है, I think, in terms of just listing the company, but it has a good story. I would be applying for this issue. But just want to confirm two questions. One, how is the anchor list? And two, it's a 10% retail issue, right?
So I'll be very frank, I did not got a chance to go much on the anchor book. I read it at the very top level, so I can be wrong at my judgment. A decent था, मतलब मेरे को बहुत याद नहीं आ रहा, but what I saw, it was a decent to, I would say not decent, I would say very frank, अच्छा anchor book था. Not very great, but it was, I would say, good, not a bad one at all. तो वो एक है. And what was another question? I just missed.
Retail 10%, right?
I guess retail is 35 if I'm not wrong. Let me check. Give me 10 seconds. $35 is retail.
Okay, so slightly liberal allotment compared to others, right? Like this is probably has the best allotment chances. So with that, maybe what we can do is we can wrap up with the next 4 minutes. Been slightly late and running short on time, but yeah, just want to understand from everyone what they are planning to do. I see. I can see that Yash has already left. Saurabh has already left. So maybe we can do. I'll start with my thing. I will be applying for Vikram Solar. I'll be applying for Gem Aromatics, and I would also put in some retail in Patel retail just to play the game. But from what I'm seeing, IPOs are not popping, so I'm not expecting huge listing gains anyways. And we'll see. I just want to build some position, so I'll be applying to this. This is what my strategy would be. Maybe I can go to Rohit and Rohit next, then Sachin, and then finish it up with Tanmay. If we can probably just wrap up slightly sooner.
There are so many issues. I don't even know which ones are there. So Vikram, I'll apply. I think one thing in one of the interviews, he mentioned that like when that host had asked why premium valuation, he said don't value us there, just value us on forward. He said they're coming 15 to 16 times this year. That was my understanding, which means the promoter himself has said that they'll do 700, 750 pack for this year, if I remember the numbers correctly. So
Correct. He went ahead and basically told future projects.
yeah, exactly. That's the number to be able to see that. So yeah, with that, I think it is actually then very cheap compared to where Avari and they obviously have the advantage of set. But this company has the advantage of margins going up even more once his cell production goes live. So let's see how it gets started, but I think it comes on FY26. Relative to the other two are really cheap. It's really cheap. And I've also heard that Q1 will be strong. Will actually be very good for it. So let's see. So I'll apply for that. I'll apply for Gem also. And I think I'll be out of money. So probably some retail in 2-3 other, like what else is that? Mangal, mostly no. ShreeJi and Patel, honestly, I have not studied too much, so I don't have a strong point of view on those two.
Got it. Over to you, Sachin.
I will be going for Vikram, Gem, and ShreeJi. Rest, if any funds are left, then maybe Mangal.
Got it. Tanmay, over to you.
So what I am planning is, I feel ki so I am thinking ki I'll apply Gem Aromatics, Vikram Solar, and to be very frank, I am also, in Kolkata, so my busy schedule was very busy for another, I would say almost 10 to 15 days. So I could not go through much things, but I'm yet to make my decision. I'm not very confident on ShreeJi, at least on listing. Baat mein kya hoga, I don't know. If it lists well, I'm happy for everyone. Gem, I am, a bit on a confident end because I know the capex is going live very soon and market is going to discount. और FMCG का direct है, and promoters have like fifth generation in the business, not a small thing. Proper Gujarat का promoter है. Cash flows are strong, business is strong. 50 साल से Colgate के साथ काम कर रहा है, it's not a small thing. They've got doTERRA as on the cap table. That institution is like crazy. So I am a bit on a bullish note on Gem. So I'll be applying Gem for sure. There is no another. Kidhar bhi khule, I am going to open. Apply. I have no listing. Nahi bhi, I am very okay to hold. Vikram. If I want to, make a summary, it's not a bad company. It's a decent company, but all the one thing is for sure कि 6 महीने बाद the lock-in is going to end for the pre-IPO. There should be a fear selling for sure. So I don't know how that selling is going to get absorbed, but I feel what my expectation is a chota listing in dega if the markets are great. Chota, I would say like 10-15%. In my manner, I can be surely wrong. It's not a speculation. 10-15% is what I expect. उसके बाद ये थोड़ा चलेगा, 6 महीने फिर से मर जाएगा. Is what my expectation is. अगर it runs well, I am happy for everyone. I have got few very good friends of mine who has a pre-IPO in it, so I am having good hope for them to make money, but I have no idea how is the things going to shape up, how markets are going to discover this, and how institutions, mutual funds, and FIs are not FIs, but also institutions and mutual funds are going to take this counter into consideration. It's on a hundreds. So Vikram, I would be applying, not full force for sure, but I'll be applying. I'll be applying decently. Patel is like small size, small price, मतलब but company मेरे को बहुत पसंद नहीं है, but what my take is, I can consider it just for listing. उसके बाद क्या होगा, I know. I'll mention one small thing. I feel it was not covered on Patel. इसका retail portion is 45% is what I know. तो यार 250 करोड़ का 45% डे वन पे आएगा, तो आई डोंट नो हाउ आर दे गोइंग टू मैनेज दिस मच फ्लोट. मतलब एंड क्यूआईबी भी बेचेगा पक्का, सारा बैंक वैंक लगाएगा इसमें, तो 250 में से इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग 180 करोड़ तो आएगा, क्योंकि एंकर बुक तो इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग खाली 30 करोड़ का ही था. 12% ऑफ द इशू वाज एंकर बुक, 30 करोड़ का एंकर बुक था. तो 220 तो पूरा का पूरा बिना लॉक इन का है, तो उन्होंने खेलो इंडिया खेलो किया तो गिरेगा अच्छे से. But I have no idea pre-open कैसे होगा, how is going to things settle. But maybe small size will have a frenzy. LM पे मेरे को भरोसा नहीं है, to be very frank. तो I might consider just for listing, and if I have spare funds. Mangal isn't a bad company, but at a perfect price. Okay, price मेरे को बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं आया. It could have been cheaper for sure, and it was waiting for an IPO for I guess last 3-4 months. But the valuation mismatch was there, and again the valuations even at this point are not great. Company is, I would say, is a good company, not a bad company, not too good, but not also bad company. But price is not great. The last one is ShreeJi. मेरे को नहीं समझ आया, frankly, कैसे margin बढ़ रहे हैं. And I am not doubting, but are this sustainable? I have a doubt, but what I know is out of my, friends out of Jamnagar is that promoter has a lot of good reputation. But हाँ, वो 16-17 में कुछ तो political scene था, keeping that aside. So, if I want to bet, it's a tough bet for me to, give a word on ShreeJi. I have no idea क्या होगा उसमें. It might be doing well. I have no idea. Anchor book was like, I would say 4 on 10 type of anchor book. The Bank of India mutual fund took good that. Also, I'd say I admire that fund a lot. Not lot of, but I have decent respect for that fund. So, if I want to summarize, Gem, Vikram, बाकी मेरे को तीनों का नहीं पता यार, मतलब आई एम गेट टू मेक, बट जेम एंड विक्रम शुड बी एट नंबर 1, जेम नंबर 2 विक्रम। ये ऊपर नीचे होने का प्रोबेबिलिटी कम है, फ्रैंकली 80% यही रहेगा, नीचे 3 4 5 आई हैव नो आइडिया एट दिस पॉइंट। आई हैवंट मेड एन डिसीजन, नाइदर आई हैव गॉट टाइम टू मेक। तो आई यू नो ऐसे में मेरे को कुछ खास नहीं दिख रहा है, तो लेट्स सी, मोस्ट लाइकली 1 2 शुड बी ऑर्डर, 3 पे आई मैं देखूंगा क्या करना है।
Got it. That was some length that you explained it at. I would have been a lot more happier if it was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I understand. With that, we are almost towards the end of this issue. What we did is कि हमने 5 IPOs का रिव्यू किया. Just want to highlight कि अगर आपने नहीं सुना है कोई और रिव्यू और you want to listen again, definitely go ahead and follow the YouTube channel as well. With that, we'll probably be back, hopefully on the weekend. But we'll see. There are a few companies which are coming next week. Mostly SMEs. We found some pretty interesting. So we'll see when we review them next week. But yeah, that is what is with respect to today's IPO chatter. I just want to highlight that I will be putting this tomorrow. So if in case you want to review, please give me some time while I try and edit and put it. With that, thank you so much for joining. Have a good day. Good night. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.